He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Attention, citizens of fair Gotham, and welcome once again to Bat Minute and Robin, the show that I forgot to write an intro for. Which as soon as I realised about 5 minutes ago, I was like, you know what, I'm leaving it. It's fine, it's fine.
To be fair to us, we are recording at like 11 in the morning at our time.
Exactly.
So, usually we'd have a bit more later in the day to do that kind of stuff.
It's unusual for me. I am your host, John Parker.
And on his quest to follow that star, it's me, Niall McGowan.
Yeah, we are both here to don many a wig and many a hat in our never-ending quest to understand this film.
Because again, though, just like the sight of that wig, just instant Simpsons of like, ooh, downtown wigs.
I just love that you just had to kind of just loosely call this movie a film.
It's an experience, but yeah. Is it a film? I don't know.
This entity that is Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Just picture me doing the four face of, is it though? Is it?
As our listeners have probably figured out, we are joined once again by our two very special guests. Here to, I was gonna quote Robocop, and I realised it's very, very vague. I was going to say they'll fix you. But,
they always do.
Simon and Courtney back again.
Thank you.
Hi.
Sorry for hijacking the podcast for a second there, but
very rude, Simon.
I know.
This is why we don't let you out often.
I know.
Whenever I'm a guest on a show, I start doing that, and I'm like, oh, they're going to hate me. But we are here to talk about minute 35, and the minute starts with a stunning statue, and it ends with a super scope.
They give a little allusion to that statue in the last minute, but it's just like there's no way they don't know what this looks like. Like it's impossible.
I'm just glad they got a statue of Jean-Luc Picard off onto the screen right.
Oh my god. It really does look. That's baffling me. I am obsessed with the whole look of Gotham, and I think.
Oh yes, it's never looked better.
I'm glad that they kept the whole weird, creepy fascist statue thing.
Yeah,
because you'd think Joel Schumacher, his first move would be, well, let's drop that. That's kind of dark and weird and creepy. I feel like like these days, I feel like I'm playing BioShock or something. You know, obviously they didn't back then. They didn't know what that was, but it's very fascist. It's like Mussolini's headquarters. I've brought this up before. It's weird.
Well, is it this one or is it Forever where they have the Batmobile riding on that giant statue thing?
Oh, that's this one. That minute is yet to come up.
It is.
Yeah,
coming.
so it's like they clearly just went, yeah, let's go hardcore. Because none of these statues were in '89, if I remember correctly. They got kind of introduced in Batman Returns.
Well, you get outside Carl Grissom's office. There's two big stone faces, which is kind of the beginning of that. But yeah, there's nowhere near like. Gotham's a hellscape in that movie, but nowhere near the amount of Greek like muscular men posed everywhere.
Oh, you know what we've said? Isn't it amazing, the transformation of Gotham from that hellscape to what you see here, where people can generally, go around doing their normal business. Maybe the increase in these weird statues indicates that Gotham has been stabilized by a fascist government taking over.
Bankrolled by
a
billionaire.
Really go into it. So
Mayor George Wallace from the circus last season, he came in and gave Gotham order.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The statue holding up the observatory.
Oh God!
And that is just such a buck wild image to me.
Yes,
and it would have to be the size of the Statue of Liberty. It would be enormous.
Oh, bigger! I think bigger. Look at it.
You can't imagine anyone coming in and pitching that. It's like I want to build a planetarium, but it's been held up by a muscular naked man, and then been like, how much is this going to cost? Like $200 million? It's like, yes, go do it. Yeah, it sounds great.
Well, Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
It's supposed to be like the most expensive telescope in the. I'm thinking that statue's got to be worth more than the goddamn lenses in the bloody telescope.
Oh, 100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be one of the wonders of the world.
I think, too, that they're actually... What I really love about this one, though, because people don't know who don't have like the visual of what we're talking about. There's a very prominent statue with a guy with his head bowed, and he's got his arms up, and there's 2 balls placed in his hands that aren't part of the statue. They've been placed there. And it looks like a guy bowing down and cradling someone's testicles.
To you, Niall.
What I love about this is because that automat sign next to it was definitely in forever, because I remember us talking about it. So I'm thinking these are all repurposed statues. And I remember in that same scene we were talking about, there was 2 statues like this, but they were both facing each other and holding like a little kind of bridge thing. Whoa. And what I think basically as the designers went, we'll use that old statue, it would be really funny if we took the bridge off and just put some balls in it. And it looks like a guy cradling some balls.
This was all shot normally in Warner's backlot, wasn't it? All the street stuff?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they probably just had that parked in the thing somewhere.
They could have funded, like, a children's hospital. They could have ended all crime in Gotham. But no, you got to have big naked dudes holding up buildings.
What we know of Gotham is that all people never learn. Like, they constantly have giant parties that are always getting infiltrated by villains. And the reaction is, let's not up security. Let's just keep having big parties that villains can infiltrate.
They can't keep infiltrating.
They just invite Batman and just we'll just have him stand around, citizens.
Ooh.
So we have Bane in this minute, and that's very important. Bane is the light of my life. He's the reason I get up every morning. I love him. He's the best.
He's going to be your reckoning, and you know it.
Yes.
And we need to talk about what he's doing. He is the chauffeur for Poison Ivy.
So cute. He has so many cute little outfits in this. He's got the gorilla suit where he's just got your head and the big fluffy costume. And here he's got a fedora and a trench coat, and it's just so cute.
To me, this look is the best part of the whole movie. The whole movie. Because he's still got his luchador mask on.
I know.
A steampunk luchador. It's so great.
He's going for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles version of disguise.
So that's why he's green.
Everything about this is so it's so TMNT to me. It is just.
The hat is absurd in the best way. Look at it. I've paused it on the still of him.
The thing is, though, this would be one of those things that Joel Schumacher probably gets crap for this. Like, Bane in the trench coat and the hat and stuff. He dresses like this in the animated series at one point. Yeah. He comes out of a plane.
Yes.
He comes out of a plane with a suit on, a luchador mask, and a hat. And it's the most ridiculous thing ever.
It's a fucking job. Okay, so Bane he was created in 1993, so just after I was created. And
he's like a brother to you in many ways.
He's like a brother to me in many ways, yes. And a mano, as he would say it. But yeah. I don't think that the creators of Batman the Animated Series or Batman and Robin had any affection for this character because he was so new. It's just like, I don't know, this dude, whatever.
So you got to remember that Bane was created for one purpose and one purpose alone, because they wanted to do the death of Superman
to
with
break
Batman.
the bat.
Yeah, that. And the thing is, if you look at those comics, Bane is smart. He's this big muscular dude.
He is. This is my point, guys.
Yeah.
He's real smart, and no one knows that.
Nobody gives a shit until pretty much Gal Simone just revamps the character like 10 years later after this movie came out.
Yes, so Secret Six is the best version of Bane, so check that out. But yeah, I think, Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, all of that, they're able to give freaking Mad Hatter a compelling and tragic backstory. For Bane, they're just like, I don't know, I guess he was born in a prison, who gives a shit?
We can't tell you, Courtney. I don't know, you know Mitch Bryan, who did Alien Minute. He was one of the writers on the Batman animated series, and we had him on to talk about Bane. And he basically kind of verified what you're saying. He was just like, Bane's a ridiculous character. Like nobody
He's not ridiculous.
But he was just like, nobody on the show didn't even really want to do him. They're just like, we got Nightfall's happening, so we have to cover this character. But it was really much
I guess if you got nostalgia, it's sort of like Sam Raimi with Venom, where he's just like, who the hell? Venom? Ugh, ew, what is this? And then he's more interested in, to me, as someone born in the night, the Vulture. This is so dumb. Mysterio?
I do remember Spider-Man 3 coming out and they're talking about Sandman. I was like, who gives a crap about the Sandman? But I guess, like,
exactly.
back if you grew up in the 60s, you're like, oh, of course I care about the Sandman.
No, I was going to say, Thomas Hayden Church actually does a bloody good job as Sandman and actually has the emotional core of the film, which is scary.
Yeah.
As somebody who came to that movie really late, I only just watched the third one a couple of years ago. I thought it was fine. Like, I had no problem with it, really.
Yeah. It's just not as good as Spider-Man 2.
So it surprises me that the Arkham games are generally really good and they respect all the characters. Mr. Freeze in that I love.
Yeah.
So good. Except Bane, who is just your big, heavy brute, just, I will break them out. It's just like, what are you doing? Yeah, he's supposed to be like Doc Savage.
One of my favorite moments of Bane ever is in that animated series episode that features him, like before the new Batman Adventures, when it's just like the episode Bane, and like they're going through the sewers, and
the leather daddy one.
Yeah, exactly. Even kinkier than this version of Bane, which is
how could it possibly be kinkier?
But there's
I love kinky versions of Bane.
But there's a moment when the Killer Croc is trying to fight Batman, and Bane just busts open the wall and shouts, "He is mine to destroy, monster!" And it was just ridiculous. I loved it so much.
It's a dream sequence, but I think it still counts, where he's like, he says to Batman, "What can you expect from a killer of children?" It's like, oh, so good. Because Batgirl just died, where he thinks Batgirl died. It's just like, yes. But what is it? Arkham Origins.
Yes. It's the only one I haven't played.
Don't.
Yeah, the only one I can't get access to. I've watched all the cutscenes with Bane in it, though. I'm like, oh, he's actually fairly decent. He's actually somewhat intelligent. He should be like Deathstroke.
See, I'm actually a hardcore defender of Arkham Origins. I love it as a game. And their rendition of Bane is probably like one of the most complimentary since Nightfall. Like, they actually treat him with a lot of respect and make him quite a formidable character, as opposed to like in Arkham Asylum, when he was just this, basically. He was this version of Bane again, mindless giant thug running around in circles and stuff.
Isn't he like trapped in a room or some dumb shit like that?
Yeah, you cage him in... I don't know why there is a cage like that in a toy factory, but okay,
I think it's an elevator door. It's one of those like accordion elevator things.
It's one of those, yeah.
And he's huge. It's like, why wouldn't he just bust down that door? And he's like, "Free me, Batman!" It's like, this is ridiculous.
Why does he not just die of heart failure? I don't understand.
Oh, God.
Like a Great Dane, they only live for like 3 years because they're just too big.
Great Bane?
Great Bane! A Great Bane. Yeah, so I think the Arkham games were all done by the time Tom Hardy did his thing, I think. Yeah, which I think The Dark Knight Rises is not perfect, but I am a defender, and I think that Tom Hardy's Bane is actually pretty great. And sometimes when I think of Bane, that's the version I think of.
I can't get over the voice.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm sorry, people.
I love the voice. It's so dumb. And I love it.
Yeah.
I get that. It is, though, quite typical that, like... I don't know if it's a subconscious or a deliberate thing, but I feel as if... Because now Bane has once again sort of been reduced via people mocking Tom Hardy's voice and the Harley Quinn television show rendition of him.
That version.
Where he is in the Legion of Doom regarded as a complete joke. Like, they'll be having meetings and Bane wants to do a magic show, so he's standing with a top hat on and stuff. And it looks like this the whole time. And it's like...
They give him the worst chair.
But like they started off in DC Comics trying to make him like, this guy is the biggest friggin' thing. He is the villain of the 90s. And then Joel Schumacher turns around and does this with him. And then like it becomes a joke for a couple of years. Then eventually Chris Nolan tries to bring him back, and all everyone takes away from it is like, what the hell is that voice about? And now he's just a joke again.
Oh my god, like he was so close. He could have redeemed himself in The Dark Knight Rises, but yeah, everyone... I mean, I think I like it, but obviously you chuckle f***s just think that it's a silly voice and you just don't understand.
I absolutely adore Tom Hardy's Bane. I absolutely love him. I think he's great.
It's just to a wider audience. Like, if there's anything you can make fun of, people will do it. So yeah, it was a risky decision, guys, and it did pan out.
But one person, though, I know will be on your side, Courtney, and this popped up in the news like over the past month. is that Dave Bautista of Blade Runner 2049 fame, and
My guy.
being, Drax, obviously wrestler way back in the day too.
Oh God, yeah, hell yeah. I mean, that to me, that's what he is. He's a wrestler who acts.
Hang on. Aren't all wrestlers actors?
Well, in a way, yes, in a way.
That's true. Yeah. But apparently, at one point, he was talking about. Well, he's out promoting Army of the Dead, and he casually dropped a bit of info in an interview where he was like,
yeah.
I've got the quote here, said, "I want to play Bane so bad. I went to Warner Brothers, had an appointment with them, had an appointment with DC, walked in the door and said, I want to play Bane. And I'm not kidding. And they were like, whoa, we're not even casting Bane. And I was like, I don't care. I'm playing him.
Yes. He would be so perfect. Like, when they announced Suicide Squad, I went, I hope there's a Bane, and it's gotta be him, right? It has to be Dave Bautista. And it didn't happen. No. Speaking of, is it just... I don't know why there's this recurring theme in the adaptations, not in the comics so much, but some example. Bane is often paired up with a woman that he is subservient to. There's Talia, you got Poison Ivy, you got Scandal Savage. What is that about? It's just this inherent need for a daddy? I don't know.
Well, in the original comics, he was just with his bunch of dudes wrecking up. So
I think after Nightfall, though, then you have that Contagion storyline, and then he's hooked up with Talia al Ghul, and I think it goes from there, where he's like, oh yeah, he's like, he is Talia's whipping boy.
See, I think it just stems from his very fetishistic sort of appearance, where they're like, well, what would his story be here?
I really want to make that meme, the meme template going like, I would never simp, and then show you a picture of something, and it's a guy with huge muscles going, anything for you, my queen.
Yes.
I want to do Bane in this movie before he gets transformed, when he's like that really skinny guy going, I would never simp, and then this Bane with Poison Ivy.
You know what I really like, though, with their dynamic between Ivy and Bane in this whole movie, is that, I mean, you can joke about that, but he's not a simp in a way that he doesn't love her like he fancies her. He doesn't want her, despite her being the most sexual being on the planet. I
don't know if he even thinks thoughts at all.
No.
He kind of just repeats words.
Which is interesting, because you could make it like, oh, he's in love with her, he'll do anything to protect her. No.
Yeah.
It's a different type of love. It's more kind of platonic.
It's very platonic, yeah.
My interpretation of this relationship is that it's a kinky thing. He is a total cuck. And he's got a chastity belt and a gimp mask on.
Yeah.
He's got bondage shackles on him, and he likes this woman, and he's just enjoying watching her getting off with everyone else except him. I think he does have affection for her, but that's their kink. Is like, she's like, oh, I know he likes watching me with other men, but that's just him.
Oh.
I was going to say, I think
We're going to write this fanfiction now. One-handed fanfiction writing.
I was going to say, I think Bane is pretty
Why
ace.
am I so dirty? I'm always so...
I was going to say, I think Bane is pretty ace, but I think I prefer your headcanon.
Yeah, I've changed my mind as well. Now I'm with you.
Yeah. What I love about adaptations, though, is how when they always have to have two villains in the same movie for some reason. One villain is never enough. Who knows why? I guess because you don't make that many. You want more villain. Anyway, toyetic. Maybe that's...
Yeah. Oh, yes.
The combo of Poison Ivy and Bane is an absolute wild combo. It's like they just rolled the dice, span a wheel, just went, we're going to have, Poison Ivy and... Bane? Okay, let's write it, make it work.
Schumacher talks about this in the commentary, that he's like, he wanted to have Poison needed a heavy, and instead of just being another Bob, because we all love Bob, but you can't replace Bob. No, they decided,
brought back Bob.
What could we do? And someone just went, well, Bane's kind of popular, and that's pretty much it. That was it. They didn't care about Bane beyond, we need a big dumb guy with muscles.
He's Bane in appearance only. I mean, he kind of has a similar backstory. I mean, he's a prisoner, and it's a super soldier serum, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But, I gotta say, even this ridiculous version of Bane, I just like Bane so much. I like seeing it.
Well, how can you not when you see the outfit he's got on? Come on. The hat and the
It's so much fun. All his little outfits. You know what? They should have made a Bane action figure with all the wardrobe, the gorilla costume.
It's not too late. It's, get on it.
Yes.
Let's
They
do
eventually make these things. They made those alien toys after 30-odd years or something. It's like,
NECA, get on that.
Oh wait, is that the one? Hang on, is that the one you bought me, Niall? Hang on.
Yeah. That one. I think they originally planned to make them in the 1970s until someone was like, "Are you fucking nuts?"
Oh, those ones.
Here we go. I've got it.
A friend of a friend just released a book about
reaction figures. It says
hideous plastic.
And I've got Kane with chest burster that Niall bought me.
Nice.
It's bursting out of him. You can get him with the facehugger on his face. Oh,
sweet.
Lovely. But yeah, I think they actually surprisingly managed to find some kind of thematic elements, or at least visual elements, that tie Poison Ivy and Bane together in terms of, the serum can be this plant-based venom thing, and it's like, that actually kind of works.
It kind of thematically works as well in that Poison Ivy's whole thing is that she can control the minds of men, so therefore her muscle is the most testosterone-driven, manly man possible.
But she doesn't have to use her wiles on him. That's what I like.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it's. I think that's. I remember weirdly at the time been baffled because I had read Nightfall as a kid, and all the promotional material for Batman and Robin never mentioned Bane. So when he showed up in the movie, I was like, "What? Bane's in this?" And it was also like, he's this guy? This is what you're doing with him? So even at 10 years old, I was a bit sort of thrown by all this, but, sort of adapted to it very quickly because it's like, well, I guess, they just wanted to have a bit where, is he going to break Batman's back? No. And the movie
Who cares?
goes on.
He's amazing.
Yeah, all the promotion was just Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's it. And I don't even think Clooney was like, at that time he was known for like ER. He had a couple of movies under his belt, but this was his big Hollywood break, essentially.
Yeah.
And somehow it didn't kill his career.
Yeah.
Despite his pretty bad acting. I've been trying to defend him. That's gone out the window now.
I actually have a lot of defense for Clooney in the next minutes, but we'll get to that
I
in a
like
bit.
George Clooney as Bruce Wayne. Maybe not so much as Batman.
So I have a theory regarding Clooney and Kilmer in these movies. Clooney's a great Bruce Wayne, kind of a shit Batman. Val Kilmer is a pretty good Batman, kind of a Rick Flag of a Bruce Wayne. So bring those two together. If you literally cut and copy and get like the Val Kilmer Batman and then Bruce Wayne Clooney, you've got a pretty good solid Batman Bruce Wayne.
So gene splicing we want to do.
Yeah. Just edit all the footage together.
On eBay, someone is selling only the boxes for Poison Ivy and Bane. I don't understand why someone would want that. But Bane comes with an axe for some reason. Like a mace axe. Max, if you will.
He clearly should have a fedora, but okay.
Just cut one off a...
Bollocks. Oh, and then they're all Batman the Animated Series, man.
Just cut one off a Indiana Jones. You'll be fine.
So on the radio we heard Gossip Gertie talking about Bruce Wayne making an amazing contribution to the city. Yawn. He's always doing this, isn't he? Every 5 minutes. Bruce Wayne. But it is pretty cool because he is basically paying for a new telescope for the observatory that we mentioned. The absurd, beautiful...
Very not disability accessible building.
That's an excellent point. Would that pass any kind of sort of HR inspection these days?
Probably not. Does it rock in the breeze?
I find this setup is a bit weird when there was a prior scene with Poison Ivy and Bane that they cut out where you see her getting this limo, basically. She, in the airport, she just like, I'm taking that one. She goes up to, in the novelization, it specifies it's a guy reading a nudie mag, who's the driver. And he's like, I'm waiting for a guy, not a dame. Oh, I'm sorry, a lady. And she lures him out. And as soon as he gets out, Bane snaps his neck. Then then they slip in. The original passenger gets in. Ivy does the kiss and kills him, then just dumps the body out the door.
That's cool.
And at one
I
point,
don't think they needed all that to establish getting the car. It's not really important.
Yeah, I can believe they just got a car from somewhere. It's fine.
Yeah.
yeah. But at the end of that, though, it says Bane kind of looks at her like, where to, kind of, and she goes, "Oh, once around the park, and then we'll see," which kind of alludes to like they've just been driving around. Hoping that they find out where Bruce Wayne is at some point. And like, I guess just tune in the radio. Will give us an update on where he shows up eventually, I guess.
He's always.
Oh, did you have any notes on this Mercedes?
Well, it's just the movies it appears in. But you go ahead, Courtney, if you got stuff.
Yeah, so it is possibly, or most likely, a 1972 Mercedes 600 Pullman limousine, and apparently there's only about 300 ever made, and limousines tend to be custom made. They don't just mass manufacture them, so they were available in a lot of different colors, but red is supposedly quite rare. It's so hard I can't fact check, but this is what I found online, and that color is called Signal Rot, which in German is signal red. And one guy on the Internet Movie Car Database, he had a little story, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought I'd mention it anyway because it's interesting. He claims that it was once owned by William Baron Hilton I of the hotel chains, and he was using it in Las Vegas for over 10 years, and the license plate was Hilton 1. So, yeah, that's somebody's anecdotal.
I like that, and I like the car. It's cool. I'm not a big car person, but it's nice.
It is. I mean, red's always great.
I believe it was Albert Einstein that says everything on the internet is true.
It's absolute fact, yes.
These Pullmans, or just Mercedes limousines in general, very commonly used as Nazi cars or villain cars in movies.
You did go with a German car.
Yeah, is it just because it is a German car?
Probably.
Yeah. Because BMW's Bavarian, so it's not quite,
Close enough.
It'll do.
Yeah. Because it's got the shocking red as well. It's like red fire, evil, poison ivy's hair.
Color theory.
It is so cool.
Yes, it's good cinematography, like the red, red matching her hair and the little curtain, the box and all. Yeah. Ooh. Say what you will about this movie, the cinematography is pretty damn great throughout a lot of the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good-looking movie.
That's something we've really picked up on minute by minute, is like, other than the dodgy fake ice, everything looks amazing in this film.
Yeah, the special effects.
He never once says ice, ice, baby. What the
Maybe they wanted to.
Because talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, why wasn't Vanilla Ice the spin-off artist for this? Why isn't he on the soundtrack anywhere?
Probably because they heard the turtle rap.
The turtle rap is a godly piece of entertainment.
The thing is, I imagine with this movie, Joel Schumacher was like, that's exactly what I want. I want something like that.
This whole shot of them in the car, though, it's something I've only just sort of really thought about. It's bizarre. It's another thing. It feels out of place, right? It feels like something from a movie from, I don't know, the 40s. Yeah. It feels like she's backstage, again, at a cabaret, getting ready. This doesn't look like the interior of a car. Look at the mirror.
Yeah. Where does that mirror come from? Is that as an optional, if you want to get ready, we have an ornate mirror that raises up behind the seats?
It's bizarre. And they have like the little curtain that you mentioned. It feels like backstage at a club.
Yeah, again,
there's too many questions.
She is,
You just know it's there just to hide that, so they don't have to dress the background and like put in a green screen or something like that. So it's just so cheap, but it works.
It's a great move. Take the cheap option.
It totally works in that, she is about to go and give a performance as well. Yeah. So she is literally like, I'm getting dolled up to go out and wow him.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. Bane.
I forgot to. Those the statue holding the balls. Those are light up balls, so it just makes it even worse.
Or better.
Was Schumacher out at this point? I can't remember.
Oh, Schumacher's out since like the 70s. Like he was like, I'm proud.
Yeah.
He was definitely
putting a curtain in the back of the car seems like a safety issue.
How's he going to look in the rearview mirror? It's like, there's a curtain there.
Oh no, think about it. He's got to look through the rearview mirror through the other mirror.
Oh my god.
Ah, it's all sorted. Yeah, it's fine.
It's like the friggin' satellite system that pops up at the end of the minute.
Oh yeah, Jesus, that's a confusing thing. But I did look into because Bruce's present, is that super amazing telescope. So I thought, well, what's the most powerful telescope in the world? And of course, there's various ways of gauging this. But the generally considered one, from my research, is rather amusingly named the Very Large Telescope.
Who named this? Like friggin' like the Monty Python crew or something?
Or maybe one of the scientists' kids. I don't know. It's located in, and I'm going to butcher this, Cerro Paranal, which is a mountain in the Atacama Desert of northern Chile.
Oh yeah, I know.
The Very Large Telescope. And
the Atacama Desert's also where they found that scary little fetus thing. It's like a skeleton, and it looks like a full-grown alien, but it's tiny.
Oh, yeah. Help. We need to post a link to this. We're posting a link in the group.
Yeah.
Niall, remind me. There are more powerful ones in space.
Yeah.
If you're judging it that way. Because there's the James Webb Space Telescope, which is like the successor to Hubble. It does all kinds of crazy crap that I don't understand to do with long wavelengths and all this nonsense. Looking in dust clouds. I don't get it. But I like the Very Large Telescope.
Isn't that the one that's got the infrared telescope as part of it as well? And that's further? Yeah.
It's an orbiting infrared observatory is the full sort of name of it. Which it sounds cool, but it's not very large.
It is kind of cool because the actual data come back and they're actually able to search farther than visible light. And you have to have a very powerful one. And also we can now scan top and down, I believe, because we've got all the galaxy between us and everything else. Like the Milky Way blocks all of our view. So,
but we can see through now. Yeah, they can see at stars that are forming and all this in distant galaxies. They are hunting for the formation of the first galaxies because they want to look closer to the beginning of time. Is their stated mission, which is insane. So maybe that's what Bruce Wayne's doing. I don't know. When we see what his telescope is up to in the next minute, I'm baffled. We'll get to it.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. One of the things I had for this minute in particular is at one point, after they hear Gossip Gertie just give away Bruce Wayne's location, Ivy is like, Gotham Observatory, Bane, and step on it. And, Bane doesn't step. The thing is, he seems like he's supposed to be such a mindless monster. Saying step on it to him would be him just putting his foot through the goddamn bottom of the car, basically. He feels very much like Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, he wouldn't understand, things that aren't literal. So, saying that to Bane's is like...
We go through so many cars that way.
But that also leads me to think, like, maybe he is much more intelligent. Again, this is all part of his GIMP outfit routine thing where he's like, I'm a mindless monster who just repeats what you say, but he knows how to drive this car. He knows which side of the road to drive on now that he's in America.
Well, I like that Frankenstein monster-esque sort of element to him. More from the books, of Frankenstein. Because it kind of makes you empathize with him and makes him a good guy with Ivy. Because, he's been abused and tortured and turned into a monster, but he still retains a bit of humanity here. Like, I kind of can't fault him. He just wants to help this woman out who's been wronged. It's like, aw.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he can still drive.
That's the way with most villains, isn't it? That the moment you start giving them a sympathetic backstory, it's just like, oh, yeah. Like, most...
They're kind of right.
Heroes generally have it good. They don't know what it's like. The villains, man, they've had it tough. I mean, Batman lost his parents when he was a little kid, but then he had millions of dollars. Oh, boo-hoo. Like,
and another father figure, at least, to help raise him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like he was alone. He wasn't really an orphan. Jesus Christ, Bruce, get over it. Whereas Bane, like, do you know what he's been through, Batman? Yeah, I think we're kind of missing that these days where we've gone, early cinema was, and storytelling, very much black and white, heroes, villains. Then we started to get a little bit more nuanced, I want to say somewhere around the 70s. And now it's almost like, oh, but Loki is so lovely. Let's make him the main character of a TV show.
That's because everybody just thinks he's sexy.
Yeah. I mean, no hetero, but yeah.
Man, like in the opening moments of his own TV show, he does have his leather outfit burned off him, so he's sweaty and naked with a collar around his neck. It's like, they know what they're doing. Like this is just it's designed to be screenshotted and pawed over by people for the rest of the time.
They know what the queers are wanting. Yeah.
So what you're saying is you either die a villain or live long enough to be a hero?
Oh,
yeah. There you go. Everything. Mark Hamill watching The Dark Knight. It's just going, amazing. Everything you just said was wrong.
Love it.
But yeah. So we do, of course, hop over to the Gotham Observatory. As we mentioned before, amazing building. Like, maybe my favorite building in the whole movie. It's beautiful.
It's borderline terrifying. It honestly is.
Oh, it is one of those things. If you were in there, you're like, is this steady? It's like, it feels like it could fall, because it's at an angle as well. So it feels like it could fall apart very easily. Someone could fall off this thing at the drop of a hat. But, my God, does it look good.
On reflection, I'm getting like 8th Doctor TARDIS vibes from it.
Oh yeah.
Almost,
just the TV movie, like the big circular area, like girders, pop rivets, a bit of that steampunk
kind of art
aesthetic.
Nouveau,
yeah, Art Nouveau. Yeah, that's definitely.
That's always my big takeaway from the Riddler's hideout at the end of Forever. It's like, it looks like a TARDIS. Like, if they just went, like, we just swiped it from Batman Forever. And even, like, Doctor Who used to have the question marks all over his jumper and stuff. It's like, yeah, just keep the question marks on the floor. Who cares?
We'll head off into the dark night once again. So
the only thing I was going to bring up was, do you want to talk about Gossip Gertie next minute?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we got a good, some good close-ups of Gossip Gertie.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, no worries. Yes, we will head off into the dark night. So join us again on Friday for more Bat Minute and Robin.
Next time, Holy Telescopic Exposition. Gotham's new constellation observation station is unveiled by a billionaire playboy and his paramour. Traveler Trash is on Bruce like a rash as he introduced the set of our finale. But can he answer whether he's marriage ready now that he and the body are going steady? We're going starry-eyed on Friday, Pod Pals. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
We'll be back.